Hello and welcome to Political Pulse Polling. I'm Dodge Landesman. With me today from Emerson College Polling is Isabel Holloway and Sonali Anand. What does the Senate poll show about the electorate in Nevada? Dean Heller is at 48%, Jackie Rosen 41%, so there's been a little bit of a flip, which is kind of interesting. What would you say about that?
We're seeing that Nevada is looking like a very purple state. Dean Heller is the incumbent Republican, and he is ahead 7 points, but there's a lot of people that are undecided in that race as well. We're seeing that Jackie Rosen does have a base with younger voters as well, so if, like a lot of people are predicting, that younger turnout does go up, then we expect to see this race tighten a bit.
Right, that'll be interesting to see where all the young people go, big college population. And it says that both candidates are polarizing figures in their own way. How so? I mean, it's interesting to kind of see Heller's shift, who was originally quite anti-Trump, but now has kind of changed his tune.
Yeah, well, with Heller, he didn't endorse Trump in 2016, but now he's sort of fallen more in line. He's voted for a lot of Trump's key bills, but with Jackie Rosen, it's interesting because she's a representative from the state's 3rd district, and that district went for Trump in 2016. So it's interesting that she chose to sort of step out of that race and
not run for re-election.
not run for re-election and choose to run for Senate instead.
They both also have net unfavorable ratings, so that's interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. I think Rosen is at 45% unfavorable. Heller's at 46%.
But both of those are more than what favorability rates they have in the state as well. So.
Right, interesting.
It'll be an interesting race to look at.
And yeah, I mean, it says that more young people support Rosen. Do you think young voters can be a deciding factor in Nevada in particular? Rosen, for example, is at 59% with young people. Heller is only at 30%, so big gap there.
Yeah, we do traditionally see that Democrats do better with the younger electorate. The only issue is that younger turnout is often down. So it really depends if Rosen can sort of motivate that group to come out and vote.
And there's another race in the ballot, which I think has gotten some less attention. What does the governor's poll tell us? Laxalt is at 46. Steve Sisolak is at 41%.
Again, in that race, we're seeing that the Republican, Adam Laxalt, does have a slight advantage. It's a little bit smaller than the advantage that Dean Heller has. But Adam Laxalt is up a little bit in this race.
It also has to do with their history as well. Adam Laxalt was the Attorney
General
of Nevada, while Sisolak, I don't believe, had a previous
he hasn't held public office before. He's just a businessman, you know?
Right, and that's the interesting part too. He's like kind of a part of this political scion family. Grandfather was involved in Nevada politics, ran for president back in the day, so even a national figure, so that's kind of interesting.
So his name is a bit more noticeable than Sisolak's.
Yeah, for sure.
And where do you see the undecided voters going? There's 8% undecided.
Yeah, we're actually seeing that undecided voters are breaking about 62 to 38 for Sisolak in this race, which means that we could be seeing some potential tightening.
And then you polled each district in Nevada when it comes to the House. What do these tell us?
Well, for these, it's important to remember that there's smaller subsets, with that carries a larger margin of error, but we see that the 1st and 2nd districts really aren't very competitive. The 1st district is going to be held by Democrat Diana Titus more than likely, and the 2nd district will be probably held by the Republican. The 3rd and 4th district are really the competitive ones that we're looking at. In the 3rd district, that's Jackie Rosen's district that she's choosing to not run for re-election. We see that the Democrat does have a slight advantage in that race, about 2 points, but that Danny Tarkanian, who's run for office before, is mounting quite a challenge. He's the Republican candidate.
Right, I think it's like his 4th try.
Yeah, 4th try.
Meanwhile, in the 4th district, we have Stephen Horsford and Crescent Hardy. And they're about, Stephen Horsford is about 2 points ahead of Crescent Hardy, which is a really interesting race to look at. So that'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also mounting a comeback bid after getting defeated.
Both of them are technically.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
they both, in the past decade, have ran for the same position. And then
they both held the seat, actually.
They both held the seat, and then now that the incumbent is no longer running because of sexual assault allegations, they're now going against each other for
see who can reclaim it.
It'll be an interesting race to look at.
It's politics for you. It's always full circle. And most of them seem close with a lot of undecided voters, obviously. Where do you think they will go?
I think it depends as the election gets closer to see what these candidates are making their key issues. As we get closer, we'll go back in Nevada in a couple weeks and sort of push those undecided voters to make a decision in the congressional races. We did that in the governor and Senate race this round, so it'll be interesting when we do that in congressionals as well.
And looking at these polls, what do you think the political makeup of Nevada will be after the election?
I think that'll be an interesting thing to see because the districts in itself are very different. So you have District 1, which is Las Vegas, so that's a more Democratic district. But then you have like the 2nd district, which is way more Republican. So I think there is a chance that it could lean towards the GOP in the 2020 elections, especially since it is becoming more for example, Jackie Rosen's district went for Trump. So I would not be shocked if in 2020 it went to the Republicans.
Yeah, it's definitely a purple state.
Interesting. Well, that's all the time we have this week. Join us next week as we dissect another poll leading up to the 2018 midterms. I'm Dodge Landesman, and thank you to our guests, Isabel and Sonali. See you next time.